What up, everybody? Some of the cast for Raising Kanan Season 5, Episode 1 is now listed on IMDb. Keeping in mind that Raising Kanan Season 5 was done filming sometime around the end of 2024. It doesn't have the main cast listed yet. This is, I guess, what they call the featured cast or guest cast. But on this list, it has some faces that we've seen before, like Carmine, the guy in Phil Russo's crew, who was also a hitter in Sal Baselli's crew. Also Ricardo, the guy who works at Unique's tailor shop in the front area. Reggie, the guy who was in Golden Pavilion who called Irwin Mr. Miyagi. And Jessica Figueroa will all be in episode 1 of season 5. Then it also has listed some new characters, like Elena Russo, who's most likely Phil Russo's wife, 2 new detectives, Detective Edwards and Detective Parker, a character named Ishak Habib, a funeral attendee, it doesn't say what her character's name is, a social worker, and what's listed as a red, white, and blue man. Starting out with Ricardo and Reggie, this likely simply means there will be a scene in episode 1 with Unique at his tailor shop. At the end of season 4, Unique just finished having his people burn down Stefano's fish shop in the Golden Pavilion, but Rock took it to a whole nother level when she had Lou and B. Rilla snatch up Panessa and Jerome. I don't know what kind of leverage Rock planned on using Panessa and Jerome for, but Unique is definitely gonna snap when he finds out that Lou has them. But at the same time, the key storyline going into season 5 is whether Rock's dead or alive, and until we have the answer to that question, we don't know if the story's going left or right, because everything will revolve around that regardless. If she's dead, it will be the immediate aftermath of her death. But if she's alive, it will be what happened to stop what appeared was about to go down at the end of episode 10, with Kanan taking the kill shot at Rock. And because Rock's who made the call for Lou to snatch up Panessa and Jerome, this will definitely also play a big part in what happens with that. But concerning Lou, now that we know Jessica will be in episode 1, we know she's there to see Lou. And last time we saw Jessica was after Famous's death, when her and Lou hooked up in the studio. At that time, I said I think there's a good chance that Jessica will return to New York pregnant. And now that we know she'll be in episode 1, is she returning to New York to tell Lou that she's pregnant with his child? Also, with Jessica returning to New York, how's she gonna feel about Lou returning to the streets and putting music on the back burner? And if she is pregnant, what kind of impact will this have on Lou, especially after he just finished snatching up Panessa and Jerome? Especially if that situation goes left, because at this point, after snatching up his child and baby mother, Unique has every right to take out Lou. But in regards to Jessica being pregnant with Lou's child, I definitely think there should be a Thomas family alive on the current power timeline. And since we know Jukebox and Kanan are dead, as well as Kanan's son Sean, and we don't know the fate of Rock, Marvin, or Lou yet, so Lou's son possibly living out in LA could be the last remaining member of the Thomas family bloodline. Getting me to Carmine, listed for being in episode 1. Like I said, he's part of Russo's crew now, but was part of Sal Baselli's crew first. And we found out in episode 10 that it was Russo who asked Stefano to take out Sal. And because Russo tried to take out Stefano and likely failed, Stefano could put it out there to the New Jersey mob who was loyal to Sal that Russo made that call. Then at that point, we could definitely see Russo's people turning on him. Ironically, just like he said, if he could soften Stefano up, his own people would be the ones to take him out for him. It might ultimately be Russo's own people taking him out. Then also keep in mind somebody connected to Phil Russo, most likely his wife, will also be in episode 1. Because of that, I think there's a good chance that Russo could get smoked in episode 1. Keep it in mind Teresa Bocelli was introduced the episode that Sal got taken out. Then there's also the 2 new detectives that will be introduced in episode 1 and the social worker. Keep it in mind that Kanan had to deal with a social worker in season 3 after Rock put the gun in his backpack to try to get him back home. Either though in season 4 we didn't see Miss Walsh on the screen, so it looked like Kanan had finished up whatever he had to do concerning that. And since it doesn't say Miss Walsh and just a social worker, this lets us know that something else happened. If Rock is in fact dead, Kanan would most likely have to deal with a social worker again because the fact he's only 17 years old. This could also explain why there's 2 new detectives being introduced, possibly investigating into Rock's murder. The social worker may also be on the scene if somebody shot or did something to Kanan to stop him from shooting Rock. And this could also be why the 2 cops are there, investigating into what happened to Kanan if he got shot or wounded. If this isn't concerning Rock, then it most likely has something to do with Crystal. Getting me to the funeral attendee listed as cast for episode 1. This definitely means that there's a funeral in episode 1, but the question being, whose funeral is this? This is most likely either talking about Rock's funeral if she's dead, or Crystal's funeral since we haven't seen that yet. If it is Rock's funeral, we already know it's a damn tragedy. But if it's Crystal's funeral, it could be where Kanan gets a piece of information that points him in the direction of Snaps and Pop Henry. Then there's somebody listed with the name Ishaq Habib. As far as I know, this character hasn't been introduced yet. Let me know in the comments if he has been. But I'm guessing that this character is connected to Hafiz, Rock's Afghanistan plug, in some type of way. Keep it in mind at the end of episode 9, Rock got her first shipment from Hafiz, but it never showed what happened concerning that shipment, because the next thing we know, Rock was getting shut down by both Stefano and Irwin. So one question I have is, what did Rock do with that big shipment that she just received if she hasn't been able to move it? If Rock's alive in season 5, there'll be a problem that she'll need to solve. And the last cast listed for episode 1 is what's described as a red, white, and blue man. And because I have no idea what this even means, I'm not even going to try to elaborate on what that could be about. Let me know what you think in the comments, as well as your thoughts, theories, and predictions.